Hi, this is Page Gluckie of Empowered Marketing. I wanted to invite you here today to tell you about the number one thing that is working for my success in business right now. And I'm not one of those here's a secret to success kind of person, because I don't think there are any secrets. I think there are things you learn the fast way or the slow way. And there are some things I know the fast way because I have a 20-year marketing history in a career behind me that I got to bring to my small business. However, there are lots of things I've had to learn the slow way, and the good thing about learning things the slow way is that you get to practice. One of the things that I have practiced at building that I did not understand or get to utilize as much in my corporate career is the number one thing that is making my business grow right now, and frankly it has been for the last 4 years of my business, which is, you ready for it? Community. Now, I am not joking when I say that growing a small community and building it into a bigger community is actually the most essential thing for your business as well. And the reason I say I'm not joking about it is because a lot of people don't really place value on community. They place value on clients, they place value on customers, they talk about, yeah, but you did a blog, you did some social media, but what results did you really get? And I would not be lying if I said that 99% of my business has come from my community building efforts. From my blog, from my social media, from community-based events that I've held. My community is absolutely the cornerstone to the success in my business. Now, the grow slow part of it is that I'm a part-time entrepreneur, really. I work a lot more than part-time hours some weeks. Some weeks I work just a few hours to no hours, based around my 3 kids' schedules. That's a commitment I've made. Not everybody has to make a commitment like I have to being a part-time entrepreneur. If you don't, you need to grow faster because your business will fizzle out sooner if you do not build momentum at a faster pace. If you want to be a part-time entrepreneur and grow slow, you need to be slow and steady and consistent in building. It's all about building a brand that is understood and appreciated by people who want to love you, people who are like you in some ways, and people who want to be like you in other ways. That is really the cornerstone of what a community is. Now, a community is really based in the same philosophies of the old mom and pop shop days of doing business, which is word of mouth marketing. Word of mouth marketing is still the number one way to grow a business. And you know what? Back in my advertising agency days where I had clients with no budget telling me they really just wanted a word of mouth marketing campaign, back in the how old am I? Back in the early 90s, the 7 years I worked at an advertising agency. Wow, that was a struggle. It was a true struggle to build a word-of-mouth marketing campaign back then because we had to really get grassroots. And by grassroots at that time, we meant the only way we could connect with community is by being real, live, and in person in front of customers. A really challenging thing to do back in that day. Today, it is so easy. Building a community online, once you figure out your voice and what you stand for and what your marketing message is and the consistency and clarity that every small business needs to grow and attract the right people, once you figure that stuff out, which takes time, once you've figured it out, the rest of it is the technology and tools that you need to have in place in order to attract those people. It is part of you being available where they are in order for them, your community, your fans, to connect with you, ask for your advice, ask your opinion, make you the thought leader that they want to go to when they struggle, when they have a problem that needs to be solved, when they have a celebration, when they have a success. So I would really like you to sit back and grab a pen and paper and jot down some notes as you watch the rest of this video about what your community means to you. Or if you have a really solid business, but your community is not as strong and thriving as it could be. And it's really important to know that when I talk about community, I am not talking about numbers. I'm not talking about a quantity of people. I'm talking about a quality of people. Even if your community today is 5 people, and that 1% of people where I talk about my community, the 1% of my community that is not from online marketing or my online networks or my meetings, that 1% are the family and friends that also were entrepreneurs or starting small businesses. The 1% were maybe about 5 people who showed up at my first events back in 2007. And my business grew from there. So even if you only have 5 people right now in your community, I promise you that if you sit down and think of what you stand for, what you can do today to attract more people to your community using just what you know about Facebook or about Twitter or about Pinterest, and really test yourself to see what you know about word-of-mouth marketing already, remembering the mom and pop shop days, Little House on the Prairie, go back as far as you need to in your pop culture to imagine a community you saw on TV and how they thrived on word-of-mouth marketing. Imagine what you can do right now to grow that community. And I promise you, 4 years from now, you'll be sitting here like me saying, yep, building my community was the #1 secret to my success when there are no secrets, because everybody knows how to do this. It just takes some practice, some time, and some technology and tools. Now, before you go, I wanted to tell you about one of the cornerstones to my community, and how important it has become to my business, which is my blog. I'm going to be creating a course on blogging for business, and it's not going to be just a regular here's how to do a WordPress blog site. It is way beyond that. It is really about finding your voice, overcoming your fear, putting in place some of the tech and tools that are really important to growing that community, because it is not just about writing. It is about getting readers. It is about getting fans. And there's some strategy to that. It is not write it and they will come. Writing is really cathartic and really important to my business, even if nobody reads it. It is the act that I go through in order to clarify my thoughts before I prepare my next class, or before I go visit a client if I'm facing something that I'm working through in order to help them. I will blog about it, and if it's something that I think is really important to masses of people, I will find a community for it as well. So blogging for business. So I encourage you to take a peek below at the blogging class that I'm creating, and if blogging is something that you think is going to be a cornerstone to your community, then I encourage you to take a look at that class that I'm coming up with you in mind as part of my community. So thank you. I want to wrap up with a huge thank you to you for being part of my community. You really matter to me, and I really appreciate the conversations we have on my blog, online, one-to-one, emails. Keep it coming. I love that connection with you, and I encourage you to go discover your community and do more than you have before. Thank you so much. Take care.